Our top story this morning, US President Joe Biden and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin had what the White House later described as an useful meeting that allowed both leaders to speak frankly about the ongoing conflict over Ukraine. US's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, briefing reporters after the call, said that President Biden warned Putin of strong economic sanctions should Russia invade Ukraine, signaling that any military aggression by Russia would have stronger ramifications than it did back in 2014 when Russia invaded and took the Crimean Peninsula.
I will look you in the eye and tell you, as President Biden looked President Putin in the eye and told him today, that things we did not do in 2014, we are prepared to do now. Now, in terms of the specifics, we would prefer to communicate that directly to the Russians, to not negotiate in public, to not telegraph our punches, but we are laying out for the Russians in some detail the types of measures that we have in mind.
For his part, Putin responded to the warning with his own demand for a reliable, legally binding guarantee against NATO expansion eastward and complained about NATO attempts to develop Ukrainian territory, while no breakthroughs in the standoff were reported. Both sides agreed to continue communication, a development that could lower global tensions. The Kremlin continues to deny having any intentions to invade Ukraine, saying that its troop buildup on the border is defensive. After the 2-hour call, President Biden also spoke to Western allies of UK, France, Germany and Italy. All of them agreed to work closely together on this issue. The United States has made it clear that while it is pursuing diplomatic channels to defuse the situation, it is also preparing for all contingencies.
In terms of next steps, the President and President Putin agreed that our teams will follow up on the issues discussed today. The President and his European colleagues agreed that our teams will work together to ensure that our engagement with Russia going forward both involves and is closely coordinated with European allies and partners so that we are all on the same page. There's a lot of work to do in the days ahead. As we pursue diplomatic channels, we will also prepare for all contingencies, just as we have been doing for weeks now, including through the preparation of specific responses to Russian escalation should they be required. Specific, robust, clear responses should they be required.
Now, it is clear that both the United States and its allies are ready to take stricter action against Russia than they did last time around. One of the deterrents could be Russia's mammoth Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipeline to Germany, which would be suspended if Russia invades Ukraine. Also on the table is sanctioning Russian banks. Target Putin's closest aides and oligarchs, sanction Russia's bond market, cut off Russia from the international banking system. But the fact remains, the United States and its allies do not know for sure what Russia plans to do with Ukraine. While Moscow calls the invasion talk Western hysteria, it has placed an estimated 175,000 troops along its border with Ukraine. For now, despite the 2-hour call, the status quo seems to have remained unchanged here. And our correspondent Nick Harper has sent us this report. For more on this, let's listen in.
Two of the world's most powerful men spent a full 2 hours on their virtual call. A White House readout after the meeting said that President Biden had voiced deep concerns about Russia's buildup of military on the border with Ukraine. The statement added that these were concerns held by both the US and by its European allies. And that appears to be part of President Biden's tactic. Going into this, he wanted to approach the talks able to show a united front of allies all ready to face down Russia. He spent time before and also after the call with President Putin speaking to those leaders in the United Kingdom, France, Germany and Italy. The White House also said President Biden made clear that the US and its allies would respond with what the White House called strong economic and other measures in the event of military escalation. Following the virtual call, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan spoke to reporters at the White House, and he said that the president was crystal clear on where we stand, adding there would be specific, robust, clear consequences. We're told that those could include sanctions, including against the Russian leader's inner circle, or sanctions that would effectively cut Russia off from the global financial system, making it very hard for the country to interact and to do business with the rest of the world. Sullivan also said that the US would not let a Russian invasion of Ukraine go unchecked, referring to Moscow's annexation of the Ukrainian peninsula of Crimea 7 years ago. He said, "Things we did not do in 2014, we are ready to do now." Asked if America would deploy troops to Ukraine, he said additional capabilities are on the table should Russia move on Ukraine in a more decisive way. Nick Harper, Washington.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.